They laughed at humans. Then the safety limits came off Sci-fi Stories today. The humans called it Earth, though the aliens only called it Cluster 5. Commander Varlock, a tall, thin alien with green-scaled skin, stared at the planet through his viewing window. "It is primitive," he said. His voice was sharp like breaking metal. "Yet somehow they survive." His second-in-command, a rounder, shorter alien named Creel, laughed. "Survive? They are insects. Look at their fleets. Tiny ships, weak weapons. Even a minor storm in space would destroy them." Varlock nodded. "Yes, they amuse me. We study them because they are different, but do not think they are dangerous. No being in the galaxy can match the Zithra's power. Not one human will survive if we attack." Below, on Earth, humans were unaware of the aliens watching them. Captain Liam Carson walked across the bridge of the human starship Aurora. The ship was old, scratched, and small compared to Zithra, but Liam's crew worked with pride. "Report," Liam said. His voice was steady. He was a man in his late 30s with short brown hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Lieutenant Sarah Miller, a young officer with keen intelligence, checked the readings. "All systems normal. Sensors are picking up an unknown object nearby. It seems massive." Liam frowned. "Massive? How massive?" "Bigger than any human ship," Sarah replied. "It appears to be alien in design. Energy readings are off the charts." "Show me," Liam said. He walked closer to the viewing screen. The holographic image of Zithra filled the room. Its black and green hull glinted in space. The ship was enormous, with spikes and strange moving parts that seemed alive. The crew gasped. "What is that thing?" muttered Ensign Paul Davis. He was new and nervous, still learning how to keep his fear under control. "It is hard to say," Liam answered, "but it is not hostile yet. Stay calm, maintain observation." On Zithra, Varlock watched the human reactions with amusement. "They see us," he said, his voice almost soft with pleasure. "Look at their faces, tiny hearts beating too fast." "Pathetic," Creel tilted his head. "Commander, should we teach them a lesson? Maybe fire a small warning shot?" Varlock shook his head. "No, let us observe a little longer. Humans are strange. They fight. They adapt. We might learn, or we might laugh even more." Back on the Aurora, Liam gave orders to keep the ship steady. "I want to scan them," he said. "Get every detail. Weapons, shields, hull. I want to know everything before we leave." Sarah nodded. "Understood, Captain. Beginning detailed scans." Hours passed. The humans worked tirelessly, their small ship buzzing with activity. Sensors traced every movement of Zithra, but the alien ship moved like a shadow, quiet and smooth, almost impossible to track completely. Meanwhile, on Zithra, Varlock grew curious. "They are trying to understand us," he said. "Such small creatures, yet they do not panic fully. Interesting," Creel snorted. "Interesting? It is amusing. Look at how fast they move. Their minds are sharp, but their bodies are fragile. It will not last." Varlock smiled thinly. "Yes, soon we will see. The true nature of humans. The safety limits will come off, and then we will see who survives." In the human ship, life went on. Liam and his crew shared small moments of humor to ease the tension. Ensign Paul, still nervous, asked Sarah, "Do you really think we can handle that thing if it attacks?" Sarah smiled, trying to calm him. "We handle every challenge, Paul. That is what humans do. We survive because we think, because we adapt. They might be bigger, stronger, but we have something they do not expect." "What's that?" Paul asked, a mix of fear and hope in his voice. "Ingenuity," Sarah said. "We never give up, never. That is what makes humans dangerous even when they are small." Liam overheard and nodded. "She's right. We may be small, but we are not weak. Keep your focus. Learn what you can. We may need every idea to survive this." On Zithra, Varlock felt a strange flicker of irritation, amusement. He was not sure. Humans were different from other species. Most aliens submitted to power and threat. But humans had a spark. He signaled Creel, "Prepare the field sensors. I want a closer look. Let us test them. Not to kill yet, only to observe their reaction when they feel true danger. Creel's eyes lit with excitement. Ah, finally, playtime. That night Earth turned slowly under the blue sky, unaware of the silent giants above. Humans on the Aurora 8 laughed and rested, believing their tiny ship was safe for now. But above them, Zithra moved closer. Invisible beams of energy slipped through the darkness, brushing against the hull of the human ship. Systems flickered, alarms whispered, but Liam and Sarah worked quickly to stabilize them. "What was that?" Paul asked, his hands shaking. "Unknown," Liam replied calmly. "Sensors indicate some sort of probe. They are testing us. Keep calm, don't panic. Learn," Sarah frowned. "It is precise, it knows where to hit. It is studying us like animals in a cage." Liam nodded. "Then let's act like animals that bite back." The alien crew watched with fascination. Varlock's green eyes glimmered in the dim control room. "See, they resist, not like others. They do not surrender. How amusing." Creel laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Yes, amusing. Shall we show them a little more?" Varlock considered. "Patience. Observe how they react when we remove all safety limits. That is the true test. That is when we learn what humans can do." Inside the human ship, Liam gathered his officers. "Prepare the shields. Increase sensor sensitivity. We do not know what they will do next, but we can be ready. That is all we can do." Hours passed like this, tension building. The humans worked tirelessly, adjusting shields, scanning, thinking. The aliens above grew more curious and more confident. Then something unexpected happened. The Aurora's main sensor array detected a flicker of energy moving toward the ship, not fast, but heavy, deliberate. Sarah checked the readings. "Captain, it is unlike anything we have seen. Its energy is massive." But it moves slowly, almost hesitating. Liam stared at the readings. "Hesitating? That may be our chance. If it hesitates, we have time to adapt." And so, the first night of the encounter ended in uneasy calm. Humans survived because of careful observation and quick thinking. The aliens laughed, yes, but curiosity was growing too. Varlock leaned forward. "Tomorrow," he said softly, almost to himself, "we remove the limits. We shall see who is truly strong. Humans, you amuse me now. Soon you will challenge me in ways I never imagined." And somewhere deep inside, though he would never admit it, a tiny spark of caution appeared. The stars above both ships were calm, but a storm was coming. A storm that would test humans and perhaps surprise the galaxy. The next day, the calm of space was broken. The aliens on Zithra moved closer to Earth's orbit, their enormous ship casting a shadow over the small human starship Aurora. Varlock leaned over the control panel, his long fingers brushing the smooth surface. "The limits are gone," he said softly, a hint of excitement in his voice. "Let us see how they handle real danger." Creel chuckled. "Finally, Commander, it will be entertaining. Humans will feel the full weight of Zithra's power." Meanwhile, on the Aurora, Captain Liam Carson studied the readings with Sarah Miller. "Something is different," he said. "Their energy output is higher, way higher than before." Sarah nodded. "It feels deliberate, like they are testing us, pushing boundaries." Ensign Paul Davis stared at the screen. "Captain, are we in danger?" "Yes," Liam said calmly. "But danger is not new. Humans survive because we face danger, learn from it, and act. Remember that." Just as he finished speaking, the alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the bridge. The human crew jumped into action. "Impact on the left side," shouted Ensign Paul. "Hull integrity dropping." Sarah's fingers flew across the console. "It is not an attack to destroy us, yet it is a test. They are probing the ship's shields, its response. The energy, it's focused, precise." Liam gritted his teeth. "Then we respond. All defensive systems online. We adapt like we always do." Outside, massive beams of alien energy struck the Aurora, bending around its hull, testing every weak point. The small human ship shook violently. Crew members held on to railings to avoid falling. Creel watched from Zithra, laughing. Pathetic. Their shields barely hold. They cannot even fight back properly, Varlock frowned. Do not underestimate them. They are weak physically, yes, but their minds, they adapt quickly. Observe how they think under pressure. Back on the bridge of Aurora, Liam barked orders. Divert power to shields. Sensors to maximum. Sarah, plot every pattern of their attack. Sarah's eyes moved rapidly over the displays. Captain, the beams are following our maneuvers. They anticipate movement, but they do not understand human unpredictability. Watch this. She triggered a sudden evasive maneuver, a sharp spin that should have made the ship vulnerable. The beam swung past, hitting empty space. The human crew let out a collective breath. Paul whispered, "How did we?" Liam smiled. "Humans think in ways others do not. That is why we survive. Adaptability, unpredictability, teamwork, that is our strength." Varlock's eyes narrowed. "Interesting. They resist with strategy, not power. It is unexpected," Creel hissed. "Commander, they are fools. One push, one proper strike, and they are gone." "Yes," Varlock said quietly. "But what if they fight smarter than expected? Keep watching." The Aurora continued to dodge and weave, moving in ways alien sensors could not predict. Liam ordered the crew to fire small countermeasures, electrical pulses and decoy signals designed to confuse the alien probes. Each tactic worked, buying precious seconds. Hours passed. The humans worked tirelessly, their small ship battered but operational. Varlock studied them intently. They survive. Against full energy output they survive. How? Creel shook his head. It is not possible. They should be dead. They are too small, too weak. How do they last this long? Varlock did not answer. Inside, a flicker of curiosity grew. These humans were different from any other species he had encountered. In the human ship, Liam walked through the bridge, checking on each officer. "Focus on patterns, not fear," he said. "Fear will kill us faster than the beams." Sarah nodded. "We are learning them, Captain. They move in rhythm. There is a pattern. I can map it fully soon." Paul added, "If we can understand their energy swings, we might be able to turn it against them." Liam's eyes brightened. "Exactly. That is the human way. Fight smarter, adapt faster." As night passed, the attack slowed. Zithra's energy beams retreated, testing, calculating. Varlock leaned back in his chair, observing. "They are persistent, clever. I almost admire their resilience." Creel scowled. "Admiration is wasted. They are insignificant. They cannot possibly threaten us." Varlock remained silent. He did not dismiss the humans. Instead, he studied them, seeing possibilities he had never considered. Meanwhile, the humans rested little, taking shifts to repair the ship and analyze the alien attack. Every moment was precious. Every decision mattered. In the middle of their shifts, Sarah spoke softly to Liam. "Captain, their attacks are precise, but they hesitate at certain angles. I think there is a blind spot. If we exploit it even slightly, we could disrupt their sensors." Liam nodded. "Good, prepare a test. Small, controlled, do not push too far. Observe and respond. That is the human way. Act, adapt, survive." Hours later, the humans executed the plan. The ship fired a series of electrical pulses toward Zithra, small and measured. To their surprise, the pulses caused minor interference in the alien ship's external sensors. Varlock noticed immediately. "What is this?" His voice tightened. "They are interfering with our systems." "How do they do this?" Creel's jaw dropped. "Impossible. They are too small, too weak." Varlock leaned closer. "No, humans are not weak, not like other species. They resist, they adapt, they fight in ways we cannot predict. This is remarkable." In the human ship, Liam smiled faintly. "They are not invincible, just massive. But size does not win battles. Humans do." The next wave of attacks came faster, stronger, more unpredictable. Zithra's energy output was now at full power. The humans felt the pressure in every movement, every decision. Yet they survived. They dodged, adapted, and countered in ways the aliens could not understand. Every officer worked with focus and courage. At one point, Paul shouted, Captain, another impact. Right side. Hull breach imminent. Liam ran to the console. Divert all remaining power to shields. Use the emergency stabilizers. Sarah's fingers danced across the controls. Captain, I can reroute the main energy to overload their beam for a short time. It may disrupt them. Liam considered. Do it. Timing is everything. We have one shot. The ship surged. A pulse of human ingenuity hit Zithara's sensors, disrupting their beam just long enough for the Aurora to move out of range. The crew cheered silently, hearts pounding. On Zithara, Varlock growled softly. They are resisting, full force, yet they survive. They are not insects, not even close. Perhaps we misjudged. Creel glared. Commander, they are dangerous. Small, yes, but dangerous. How can this be? Varlock remained quiet. His green eyes studied the tiny humans with new respect and a flicker of concern. These creatures were not only brave but clever beyond expectation. Meanwhile, the humans repaired the ship quickly, using simple, practical solutions. Liam looked at his exhausted crew. Rest if you can, but stay ready. This is only the beginning. They are powerful, but humans are stronger than they believe. Remember that. That night, the Aurora drifted through space, battered but alive. Crew members stared at the stars, knowing the aliens watched every move. Sarah whispered to Liam, they will come again and they will be stronger next time. Liam nodded. Let them. Humans will be ready. We learn, we adapt, we survive. That is what we do. Back on Zithara, Varlock spoke quietly to himself. Humans, I expected fear, surrender, or death. Instead, they fight, they adapt, they resist. How unusual. Perhaps they are not what I thought. Creel growled in frustration. They are clever, yes, but they are small. They will break eventually. Varlock shook his head. Perhaps. But perhaps not. Observe them further. The safety limits are gone, and now we see what humans truly are. The stars glimmered above both ships, silent witnesses to the first true test. Humans survived against impossible odds, not by strength but by courage, intelligence, and teamwork. The galaxy had underestimated them, and the aliens would soon learn that survival was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring a new challenge. The aliens would push harder. The humans would adapt faster. And somewhere, deep in space, the true battle of wits, courage, and survival was only beginning. The small human ship Aurora drifted silently after its first day of survival against the alien giant, Zithara. The crew worked quietly, repairing hull damage, adjusting shields, and studying the strange patterns of the alien energy beams. Though exhausted, their minds were sharp. Captain Liam Carson walked through the narrow corridor of the ship, checking on his crew. How are the repairs going? He asked. Lieutenant Sarah Miller wiped her brow and looked at him. We've patched most of the damage. Shields are stable, but Zithara is testing us constantly. Their patterns are predictable if you pay attention, but only just barely. Ensign Paul Davis leaned against the wall, still pale from the earlier attacks. Captain, they're too strong. If they hit with full force again, we might not survive. Liam looked at him calmly. Paul, think. It is not about strength alone. Humans survive because we think. Watch, adapt, respond. That is how we fight. That is how we live. Outside, Zithara hovered like a dark shadow over the human ship. Its sensors glowed green, scanning, probing, and calculating every move the humans made. Commander Varlock stood at the observation deck of his massive ship, his long fingers tapping on the controls. They survived the first test, he muttered. Full energy output and still they live. Intriguing, Creel scoffed. Intriguing, they are nothing but insects. One proper strike and they are gone. We should crush them now. Varlock shook his head. No, observe them more. Humans are different. They adapt, they think, they survive against impossible odds. That is rare. I want to see what they can do next. On Aurora, Sarah studied the patterns of Zithara's energy beams. Captain, I think I've noticed something. They follow a rhythm, but only in 3-second intervals. After each cycle, there is a small gap. Liam's eyes lit up. A gap that could be our chance. Prepare a maneuver to exploit it. We can survive and maybe even turn the situation to our advantage. Paul looked confused. Turn it to our advantage? How? We're tiny compared to them. Liam smiled faintly. We're small, yes, but humans can do what they cannot predict. That is our advantage. Sarah quickly programmed the new sequence. If we act within the gap, we can dodge the strongest attacks and push our countermeasures harder. It is risky, but it might work. Liam nodded. Risky is good. That is what humans do. We take calculated risks and adapt fast. The next attack began. Zithra's massive energy beam struck with relentless force. The aurora shook violently, alarms ringing through the small corridors. Brace for impact, Liam shouted. But this time the humans were ready. At the precise moment, Sarah triggered the evasive sequence. The ship twisted and spun, moving through the gaps in the alien attack. The beams missed, smashing the empty space where the ship had been seconds before. Now, Liam yelled. Paul hit the countermeasure controls, releasing pulses designed to confuse the alien sensors. The pulses struck Zithra's hull, causing minor interference. The aliens paused, sensing the disturbance. Varlock's eyes narrowed. They are attacking back. Small creatures, yet they resist. Fascinating. Creel gritted his teeth. Resistance means nothing. We will crush them. They cannot last long. Varlock remained silent. He watched the humans with an unusual feeling, respect. These creatures were clever, and cleverness could be dangerous even for a massive alien ship like Zithra. The humans continued their coordinated defense. Liam moved from station to station, giving orders, adjusting shields, and guiding the crew. Every officer knew their role. Every move was precise. Hours passed like this, a tense dance of attack and counterattack. The humans adapted to every new pattern Zithra threw at them. Every maneuver made the aliens pause. Every small success gave the humans confidence. Finally, during a lull in the alien assault, Sarah leaned toward Liam. Captain, I think we can push further. Their sensors are focused on our movements, but their energy output is predictable now. If we overload their response system, we might create a bigger opening. Liam considered it. Do it, but carefully, every second counts. The crew executed the plan. Tiny, focused energy pulses shot toward Zithra, interfering with the alien sensors. For a moment, the massive ship faltered, its massive beams swinging past empty space. On Zithra, Varlock's jaw tightened. They are not just surviving, they are interfering with our systems. Incredible, Creel growled. Impossible, how can such small creatures do this? Varlock did not answer immediately. He was thinking. Humans were not like other species. They were not predictable, not weak in the ways he had expected. Their minds were sharp, their instincts precise, and their courage undeniable. Back on Aurora, Liam looked at his crew with pride. Well done. We are small, yes, but we are strong where it counts. Brains, teamwork, courage, that is our power, Paul smiled faintly. Captain, we really can fight them. Yes, Liam said. We survive first. Then we find the opening. That is what humans do. Never give up, never surrender. The aliens above continued to study them. Varlock whispered almost to himself. Humans, they are dangerous in ways I did not predict. Perhaps we underestimated them. The humans did not know this. They were too busy surviving, repairing, and adapting. Every beam from Zithra was a lesson. Every interference and evasion made them stronger, faster, smarter. As the day turned to night, Liam gathered the crew in the small mess area. Listen, everyone, he said. Zithra is testing us. They are strong. They are massive, but they do not understand humans. They think we are weak because of our size, our ships. They are wrong. Today we survived. Tomorrow we strike smarter. Today we learn. Tomorrow we act. Sarah nodded. We have studied their patterns. We can anticipate their moves. We have already shown that even small actions can interfere with them. Paul added, and they respect us. I saw it. They paused when we hit their sensors. That was something I never expected. Liam smiled. Exactly. Respect is earned through courage and skill. Humans have both. And we never stop learning. That is why we survive when others fall. Above, on Zithra, Varlock and Creel discuss the day's events. They are persistent, Varlock said. They adapt quickly. Their small minds find openings we did not predict. They are remarkable, Creel hissed. Remarkable, they are insects. One more strike and they are gone, Varlock shook his head. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Observe them further. Humans are dangerous when underestimated. That is something we did today. Tomorrow, the real challenge begins. That night, both ships were quiet in space. The humans rested as much as they could, exhausted but determined. Every officer knew that survival was only the first step. Every lesson learned today would help them tomorrow. Liam walked to the observation window, looking at Zithra's massive shadow. They think size matters, he whispered to himself. But humans have courage, brains, and teamwork. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us dangerous. Inside Zithra, Varlock's green eyes glimmered with thought. Tomorrow, we push them harder, but they will survive. And perhaps in surviving, they will reveal something unexpected. Humans, they are unlike anything I have faced. The stars stretched silently across the black sky. The galaxy watched as tiny humans in their small, battered ship prepared for the next wave. They were small, yes, weak in comparison to Zithra, but they had something the aliens could not measure: ingenuity, courage, and an unbreakable will to survive. And soon, that unbreakable will would force Zithra to reconsider everything it thought it knew about life in the galaxy. The next day, the small human ship Aurora floated cautiously through the dark void of space. The crew had spent the night repairing the hull, recalibrating shields, and studying Zithra's movements. They were exhausted but determined. Every officer knew that the aliens above were watching their every action. Captain Liam Carson stood on the bridge looking at the readings. We survived yesterday because we adapted and stayed calm. Today, we go a step further. We make them notice that humans are not just survivors. We can fight back. Sarah Miller's eyes sparkled with determination. I have been analyzing their energy patterns overnight. They are predictable in a way that is dangerous but also exploitable. We can create a diversion, confuse their sensors, and strike strategically. Paul Davis hesitated. Captain, are you sure we can do this? They are massive. One wrong move and we could be destroyed. Liam's gaze was steady. Yes, Paul, that is why we act smart. We use what we have: our brains, our teamwork, and our courage. They may be bigger, stronger, but we are unpredictable. That is our weapon. The crew prepared for action. Shields at maximum, weapon systems primed, and every sensor tuned to track Zithra's movements. The small ship hummed with controlled tension. Above them, Zithra waited. Commander Varlock observed the humans, curiosity flickering across his green-scaled face. They survived full force yesterday, he said, and they struck back if only slightly. I must admit it is impressive. Creel, pacing nearby, hissed. Impressive? They are weaklings. Nothing but small insects. One proper strike and they will be gone. Patience, Varlock replied. Observe them. They do not fight like any other species we have faced. Their minds, they are sharp, and they act in ways that defy expectation. Let us see what they will do next. On the Aurora, Liam gave the first orders. We create a diversion, small pulses to their sensors on the starboard side, draw their attention there. Then we move the ship sharply through the gaps, ready to strike the weak points we discovered. Sarah quickly typed in commands. Diverting energy, firing pulses now. The ship shuddered slightly as the first pulses were released. Zithra's sensors flared green and flickered in response. The massive beams shifted slightly, following the signals. Good, Liam said. Now the maneuver. Everyone brace yourselves. The Aurora twisted sharply, spinning and moving through the gaps in Zithra's energy output. The massive alien beams swung past empty space, missing the human ship entirely. Countermeasures online, Sarah announced. Small electrical pulses hit the alien hull, creating minor disturbances. Varlock noticed immediately. "What is this?" he growled. "They are interfering with our systems deliberately. These small creatures, they are not just reacting, they are attacking," Creel hissed. "Impossible. They are insignificant. One strike and we erase them." Varlock's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps they are small, but they are clever. Observe. Humans do not give up. They adapt. That is unusual." Inside the Aurora, the crew pressed forward. "Prepare the next phase," Liam said. "We focus on their weak points. Small, precise strikes. We cannot overpower them with strength, but we can use skill." Hours passed as the humans carefully tested Zithara's defenses. Each pulse, each maneuver, revealed more information. The aliens responded, but the humans stayed one step ahead. Paul Davis leaned over Sarah's shoulder. "Captain, we're actually doing it. We are making them respond to us." Liam smiled faintly. "Exactly, Paul. That is the human way. We adapt, we fight smart, and we never surrender. Today, we are not just surviving. We are learning to control the battle, even if only slightly." Above, Zithara's massive sensors scanned the human ship, trying to understand the interference. Varlock frowned. "They are learning faster than I predicted. Their movements are coordinated, their attacks precise. They are not weak, they are formidable." Creel snapped, frustrated. "Formidable? They are tiny. How can such creatures be formidable?" Varlock remained silent, studying the humans. Something was stirring in his mind, a realization he could not yet name. Humans were different. Their courage and intelligence were combined in ways no other species he had encountered could match. The humans continued their offensive maneuvers. Liam gave careful instructions to move through narrow gaps, while small electrical pulses targeted specific parts of Zithara's hull. Each strike was minor, but it forced the alien ship to adjust its massive energy beams constantly. Sarah noted, "Their main sensor node is overloaded. We can exploit it further, Captain. If we continue, we may create a significant blind spot." Liam nodded. "Do it, but stay precise. One mistake and we are finished." The crew worked like a single organism. Every movement was coordinated, every pulse timed to perfection. Slowly, Zithara's massive hull began to show signs of stress in its systems. Minor feedback pulses disrupted the alien sensors, forcing the massive ship to compensate repeatedly. Varlock watched the readings in disbelief. "They are small, fragile, yet they force us to change our output constantly." "How?" Creel was frantic. "Commander, they cannot last. This is impossible." "They are human," Varlock replied quietly. "That explains much. Persistence, ingenuity, adaptability, all combined in a small package. They are dangerous." Back on the human ship, Liam gave the final order for the day's offensive. "Prepare a concentrated pulse. Small, focused, aimed at their sensor array. It is our best shot to create an opening. Everyone ready?" The crew braced themselves. Sarah activated the sequence. The Aurora hummed with tension as the tiny ship unleashed a precise energy pulse. It struck Zithara's sensor array, causing a cascade of minor system disruptions. Varlock hissed, astonished. "They struck the node. My systems are compromised." "Incredible," Creel shouted, frustrated. "Impossible, they are puny. How can such creatures do this?" Varlock's eyes gleamed. "It is not size that matters. It is will, intelligence, and the ability to act when others cannot. Humans, they are more than I imagined." The humans used the opening to move their ship to a safer position, avoiding the alien energy beams. The crew exhaled collectively, relief and excitement mingling. Liam smiled at his exhausted team. "Well done, everyone. We struck back, learned more about their systems, and stayed alive. That is how humans fight. That is how we win against overwhelming odds. Today, we showed them that size is not everything." Paul Davis whispered in awe, We actually made them react to us. We forced them to adjust. They noticed us." Sarah nodded. "Yes, and they will notice us more next time. Every move teaches us something. Every risk pays off." On Zithra, Varlock studied the human ship with a strange respect. "They are not weak," he murmured. "They are clever, resilient, and fearless. We cannot ignore them. Humans, they are extraordinary." Creel gritted his teeth. "Extraordinary, they are insects." "One more proper attack and they are gone." Varlock shook his head. "Perhaps, but perhaps not. Observe them further. The safety limits are off and now we see who humans truly are." The stars stretched silently above both ships. The humans were small and fragile in appearance, but their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had already forced the massive alien to adjust its approach. They were no longer just survivors, they were challengers. And somewhere deep in space, a massive alien ship began to realize that underestimating humans was the first mistake a species could ever make. The battle was far from over. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, stronger attacks, and greater risks, but the humans were ready. They had learned, they had adapted, and they had struck back. No matter the size of the opponent, no matter the force of the attack, humans were capable of more than anyone had ever imagined. The small human ship Aurora floated in the cold blackness of space. Captain Liam Carson stood at the bridge watching Zithra's massive silhouette against the stars. The alien ship had been observing them, testing them, and now it was fully aware of the humans' ability to resist. Liam turned to his crew. "Today, we take the next step. We do not just survive, we show them humans are not to be underestimated. Every move counts. Stay focused, stay calm, and trust your training." Lieutenant Sarah Miller checked the systems one last time. "Captain, we've analyzed their sensors completely. Their main array has a weak point from yesterday's interference. If we target it precisely, we can create a larger blind spot. That may give us the opening we need to escape or even strike more effectively." Ensign Paul Davis swallowed hard. "Captain, this is the biggest risk we've taken. One mistake, we're finished." Liam's eyes were steady. "Paul, humans survive because we take risks, but we make them calculated. We are not reckless. Remember brains, courage, teamwork. That is how we win." Outside, Zithra moved closer, its massive green light scanning every corner of the human ship. Commander Varlock observed quietly, a mixture of curiosity and caution in his green-scaled eyes. "They are bold," he said, "not just surviving, but acting." "Humans are dangerous in ways I did not imagine," Creel hissed. "Bold or not, they are tiny. They cannot last against Zithra's full power." Varlock did not reply. He continued to watch the humans carefully. They were unpredictable. Their coordination and courage made them unique, unlike any other species he had encountered. On the Aurora, Liam gave the order. "Phase 1, distraction pulses to the port side. Draw their attention and overload the sensors slightly. Phase 2, evasive maneuver through the gap. Phase 3, concentrated strike on their main array." The crew took their positions. Sarah triggered the first pulses. Zithra's massive beams swung to follow, focusing on the decoy signals. The humans felt the massive power brushing past, and the ship shook, but every officer stayed calm. "Now!" Liam shouted. The Aurora twisted sharply, sliding through the narrow gap in Zithra's energy output. The massive beams missed by inches, hitting empty space with a dull, alien hum. Paul Davis pressed the countermeasure controls. Small electrical pulses shot toward Zithra, aiming for the weak point Sarah had calculated. The pulses struck the sensor array directly, causing minor malfunctions. Zithra's massive sensors flickered and recalibrated, leaving a small but critical blind spot. Varlock growled. "They are attacking with precision. Incredible," Creel hissed in frustration. "Insignificant creatures, how can they interfere with Zithra?" Varlock's eyes narrowed. "Because they are not insignificant, they are clever. Humans, they are something else." Liam's crew moved through the opening. The Aurora weaved, dodged, and adjusted constantly, exploiting the blind spot. Every movement was coordinated, every pulse timed to perfection. Slowly, the humans were no longer just defending. They were controlling the battle in small ways. Sarah whispered, "Captain, if we maintain this, we can force them to overextend. Their sensors will be too scattered to predict us. That's our chance." Liam nodded. "Exactly, keep it steady. We act together like one unit. That is how humans survive against impossible odds." Hours passed. Zithra fired relentlessly, but the humans' calculated movements, combined with precise countermeasures, caused the alien ship to adjust repeatedly. Its massive beams now moved hesitantly, reacting to every move the humans made. Varlock observed from his command deck. "They are persistent, clever, unpredictable, one small species, and yet they are forcing adjustments in my systems. I did not expect this." Creel growled, frustrated. "Commander, they are impossible. They should have fallen already." Varlock remained silent. He continued to analyze the humans. Their small size, fragile appearance, and limited firepower were no match for Zithra in raw strength, but their mind, courage, and adaptability made them dangerous. On the Aurora, Liam saw the opportunity. "Crew, prepare a focused offensive. We aim at their main energy conduits, small, precise pulses. Disrupt their systems long enough to escape if needed or to strike effectively." "Everyone ready?" the crew nodded. Sarah's hands moved quickly over the controls. Paul pressed the final countermeasure sequences. The ship shuddered as it released a concentrated pulse toward Zithra's core sensors. The alien ship's massive hull shimmered under the pulse. Systems faltered for seconds, a critical opening. Varlock's eyes widened. "Impossible." "They have disrupted the main array," How Creel hissed in panic. "Commander, one more attack and we could." Varlock held up a clawed hand. "Patience. Watch what they do next. Humans are clever, that is their strength." The Aurora moved through the opening. Every officer worked in perfect sync, keeping the ship alive while exploiting Zithra's weakened sensors. The humans had forced the alien giant to react, to adjust, and to hesitate. For the first time, Zithra was uncertain. Liam looked at his crew with pride. "This is it. Humans are not just survivors. We are challengers. Keep the pressure, stay focused, and never give up. That is what makes us dangerous. That is what makes us human." Outside, Zithra's massive sensors struggled to keep up with the human ship. Varlock muttered, "They are small, fragile, yet they act with precision and courage. Their minds are sharper than I imagined. Humans remarkable." Creel hissed, frustrated and anxious. "Commander, they are impossible. They are too clever. They are—" "Quiet," Varlock said softly. "Watch, learn. Humans survive because they do not rely on brute force alone. They use every advantage their minds can find. That is why they endure." The Aurora's crew pressed forward. Every pulse, every maneuver exploited Zithra's momentary weaknesses. Slowly, the massive alien ship's confidence faltered. Its energy beams moved with caution, hesitant for the first time in countless battles. Paul whispered in awe, "Captain, they're hesitating. They've never done that before." Liam smiled. "Exactly, Paul. That is the moment humans wait for. Small, clever, persistent. That is how we survive. That is how we win." With a final coordinated pulse, the humans forced Zithra to divert its main sensors completely. For a few critical seconds, the alien ship's defenses were confused, giving the Aurora a chance to move far beyond the dangerous zone. The small human ship had survived the impossible and forced the alien giant to hesitate. Varlock's eyes glimmered with an emotion he had not expected: respect. They are not just survivors. They are clever, persistent, fearless. Humans, I underestimated them. Perhaps I have learned a lesson about life in this galaxy." Creel could only hiss in frustration, unable to understand how such small creatures could outthink a massive alien ship. On the Aurora, Liam looked at his exhausted but determined crew. "We did it. We survived. We adapted. We struck back. We proved that humans are not weak, that we are dangerous in ways no one expected. Today, we showed that courage, intelligence, and teamwork are stronger than size alone." Sarah nodded. We did more than survive. We forced them to react, to hesitate, to rethink. That is how humans fight. That is how we endure. Paul smiled faintly. I can't believe it. We actually made them respect us. Liam laughed softly. Perhaps. Humans have always been underestimated. And yet here we are, alive, strong, clever. That is what makes us human. Above, Zithra floated silently. Commander Varlock studied the human ship one last time before retreating slightly. They are formidable, he said. Small, yes. Fragile, yes. But clever, courageous, and persistent. Humans, perhaps they are one of the most dangerous species I have encountered. Not in size, not in firepower, but in spirit. That is something I did not anticipate. The stars stretched silently above both ships. The humans were battered and exhausted, but victorious. They had survived against impossible odds. They had adapted, learned, and struck back. They had shown that bravery, intelligence, and teamwork could overcome raw power. And in the quiet darkness of space, a small human ship sailed boldly past a massive alien giant, leaving a message clear to all who would underestimate humanity. Humans are not weak. Humans are not predictable. Humans survive. Humans endure. And humans, when cornered, can do what no one else dares to imagine. The galaxy would remember this day. The humans had survived the impossible, and Zithra would never forget the small, clever, fearless creatures that had challenged it and lived.